The United Nations is urging EU members to take in Syrian refugees who fled the war zone but are now struggling to survive in neighboring countries. Several European nations have answered the call and are granting asylum to Syrians. But one of the largest member states is being criticized for shutting its doors, as Tesa Arcilla reports.
Increasingly extreme humanitarian suffering.
There is a humanitarian crisis, so Britain is leading the way with humanitarian support.
But some might wonder whether it actually is. The UK has committed £500 million in aid. That's to assist Syria's neighbours like Lebanon, Jordan, Turkey and Iraq cope with the sheer number of refugees. But that's as far as it's willing to go.
The UK has been criticized for effectively saying no to the UN Refugee Agency's appeal to accept Syrians fleeing the conflict. And despite calls to open its doors, for now, the answer is still no.
The latest count, more than 2 million Syrian refugees are at the borders of neighboring countries.
This is abandonment. You cannot just ask people, stay where you are, we'll just give you charity. What can they do on the borders? Where would they take their children every morning?
Concern shared by 17 other nations who've said yes.
It's hard to understand why they're taking this position, given that this is something that we have done in the past. During the problems, the conflict in the Balkans, we took in thousands of Kosovans and Bosnian refugees. I fear that it may be domestic immigration considerations that's influencing them.
This comes slap in the middle of a political climate and a national mood that's increasingly wary of anyone coming ththrough the door.
We already have accepted a number of... Yes, we have. We've accepted, I think, about 1,500 asylum seekers. Yes, we have. That is a fact. He keeps shaking his head. It is a fact that we have accepted hundreds upon hundreds of individual asylum seekers from Syria.
But factually speaking, the UN's most recent request is that countries offer resettlement places for people who are still stuck in the region, which does not include the 1,500 Nick Clegg says have applied for asylum in Britain.
What the UN has asked for is over and above our sort of commitment in international law. David Cameron has called the UK Syria's friend. He's called this a refugee crisis of our time. In recognition of that, we would hope that the UK would respond.
Tesa Arcilla, RT, London.
Some analysts say the refugee crisis is being used by foreign powers as an excuse to push their own agendas over Syria.
If everyone gave asylum to the refugees, then there would be no more emergency. It gives the whole Syrian issue more of an emphasis when you have refugees suffering. UN's been ignored when it's convenient, and it's been quoted when they're playing along the game. Also, France, the UK, and the United States are playing good cop, bad cop, where the United States claim that they are for peace, and then the others contradict that. And you know that John Kerry's own spokespersons have contradicted him on several occasions now.